North Korea has announced that it's tested a massive new nuclear weapon. Just why does this bear all the hallmarks of Russia? And what does it mean for the strategic balance of the peninsula? I'm Paul, U.S. Army combat veteran. Let's talk about it. Now, this is one of those stories that gets very little play in the press, but I can tell you at the Pentagon, people are sweating bullets if they're finding out about this now, or at least they were whenever they did find out about it. And this is because North Korea claims that it successfully tested a multiple warhead missile, right? Now, South Korea's military said a joint analysis with the U.S. military says the missile likely exploded in its initial stage of flight, but it was considered a successful test, a crucial step in developing missiles carrying multiple warheads, right? This is a claim South Korea, okay. That a claim South Korea says no, the launch wasn't successful, but again, it seems sort of strange that North Korea would announce this. And frankly, it doesn't really matter if the test was successful, how successful the test was or not, right? And it was strapped to an IRBM. And this comes one day after South Korea's military said the North launch would appear to be a hypersonic missile off its east coast that exploded in midair. Now, what makes this technology, known as MIRV, so dangerous? We're going to take a look at that in just a second. But of course, you guys know if you need some energy, you want to look for Strike Gum, right? Strike Gum has all the caffeine of an energy drink, 0 sugar, 90 milligrams of caffeine, 100 milligrams of alpha GPC. It's made in the USA, veteran owned. We only use natural caffeine derived from green coffee beans. It's just superior to an energy drink in every way. You can get yours at strikegum.com or you can get yours at Amazon. Just go to Amazon, search Strike Gum. So definitely want to check it out. We got the 5-packs now, which is the right middle ground if you want to pack for your home, pack for your office, your car, and your gym bag, and still have one for when you run out. So check us out, strikegum.com. And thanks to everybody that's left us those reviews on Amazon. You guys know that makes a huge difference when there's so many sketchy caffeine gums on Amazon. To tell people, hey, this is the real deal is clutch. Okay, so why am I so worked up about this, right? Well, the answer is MIRVs are a big deal, a big deal. What are they? Here's a good example of an old school peacekeeper MIRV. You can see this is the warhead itself. Each one of those represents a nuclear payload. And what a MIRV stands for multiple independently targetable reentry vehicles, which means that the missile go up, and as missile go down, before it can be intercepted by, say, a missile interceptor, the warhead opens up and several little baby warheads come out. And these baby warheads will all kind of walk to their own targets, ideally. But even if they don't, what makes them so dangerous is the balance of power effect that they have, right? First off, it ensures that the target you're going after will get destroyed, even if you have a fairly large circular area probable, right? So again, if North Korea's goal was to take Seoul or flatten Seoul, a MIRV would enable it to sort of blanket the area in strikes. It's like the nuclear cluster munition. But the real appeal is that the effectiveness of an anti-ballistic missile system becomes really, really reduced. Because think about the math. If North Korea has 10 missiles and I have 10 anti-ballistic missile rockets primed and ready to go, then we're 1 for 1. But if North Korea can stick 12 warheads on a single rocket, now, once that rocket deploys and enters anti-ballistic missile range, you need a lot of ABMs to take this one missile out. Now, what does this have to do with Russia? Right? This has Russia's fingerprints all over it, because you may have seen in that article there, it openly said Russia has MIRVs, right? Russia has a pretty robust MIRV platform. It's developed them again in, I think, the mid to late 70s. It's old tech for them. So it's unlikely that Russia is selling nukes directly to North Korea. That would be a pretty bad sanction violation and really piss off a lot of the international community. But what's more likely is Russian technicians and engineers are working with the North Koreans so they can build their own homegrown MIRVs. And so once you have somebody that's built this thing before, imagine the difference between saying, I'm going to build my own house, and you buy a plot of land and they're like, yo, you ever built your own house before? And you're like, nah, I'll figure it out. People are like, there's no chance. But if somebody goes, yo, I'm building a house with my dad has built 6 houses in his life, then you go, hey, you're probably going to pull this off, even if it's just your dad dragging you kicking and screaming. So that's kind of how Russia's operating here, right? By having Russian technicians who've literally tread the path, they can walk the North Koreans to the answer without having technically provided nuclear weapons to North Korea. And I think there's something similar with this hypersonic missile. This is something that Russia has also invested a lot of tech in and really was kind of a letdown. Patriot missile batteries were still able to target and tear up those hypersonic missiles, even the out-of-date Patriots that you saw the Ukrainians getting. So I think Russia was like happy to give them hypersonic missiles, wasn't a big loss to them, and to help walk them through the process of building their own MIRVs. And that's why you're seeing this failure rate, because at the end of the day, right, the Soviet Union and later the Russian Federation it's a European country, it's a developed economy, it's industrialized. It just had the technical expertise and the resources to do it right. And North Korea, one of the most sanctioned countries on earth and one of the poorest, is going to have a harder time getting the technical expertise, the materials, everything they need to really make these things work. But make no mistake, this is a sign that North Korea generally, once they start this sort of thing, they're not going to stop. And I think this was an agreement that North Korea reached with Russia, because you noticed just yesterday, Russia announced that it was getting a conventional troop detachment from North Korea to deploy to Ukraine. This is some real bad news. Like, this is unironically some bad news, because now the Korean Peninsula is much more dangerous, and the Ukrainian war is much more dangerous to Ukrainians. So if you're the West, this feels like a really dangerous partnership, right? The rogue nuclear state of North Korea has never been more dangerous. And the Ukrainians, who've been focused heavily on an attrition-first strategy against Russia, now Russia has access to North Korea, the 5th largest army in the world. North Korea's active duty military, 1.3 million troops. Now, not all of them are great. They're Soviet conscript grade troops, but that's what Russia's fighting with now, and they're still able to take terrain. So again, an authoritarian country like North Korea, nobody's going to say boo about if a few 100,000 North Korean men get rounded up and sent overseas and never come home. So anyway, guys, that is all I had. A huge thank you to the Colonel tier members of Combat Vet News. The new site is getting put together right now. It's super close. We're just working out a couple of kinks, and when we do, we're going to announce the new benefits for those Lieutenant and Colonel tiers. But, subscribe to the channel. That helps, and hit a like on the video. Cheers.